Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to study the Maximin and Minimax principle of decision making under uncertainty. If you remember, in first video of this lecture series, we have studied that there are basically two factors that affects the decision making of a decision maker. The first factor was the environment in which the decision maker is making decisions. The environment can be certain, uncertain, or under risk. So in this particular illustration, the environment is uncertain. And the second factor was the attitude of the decision maker. The attitude of the decision maker can be of optimistic type or pessimistic type. So the Maximin principle or Minimax principle is generally adopted by the pessimistic decision makers. And what is the meaning of pessimistic? It means the decision maker focus on the least payoffs or the worst scenario or the most negative outcomes while selecting the optimal strategy or optimal action. So what would be the procedure of applying Maximin principle or Minimax principle? So in step 1, determine minimum payoff value for each strategy. And remember that this illustration is showing the profits of different combinations. There are 6 possible actions the company can take from A1 to A6. And there are 6 possible events, future events, of which we don't know the probabilities. So with this information, and the payoffs are showing the profits of different combinations. In total there are 36 combinations because there are 6 events and 6 actions. So there would be total 36 combinations. When the information is given in form of profits, then what would be the first step? Determine minimum payoff value for each strategy or each action. That means for each action we need to determine the minimum payoff value. And the minimum payoff value for the first action or first strategy is 360. Similarly, the minimum value for second action in this column, it is 310. For third action it is 260. For fourth action it is 210. For fifth action it is 160, the minimum payoff value. And for last, that is A6, the minimum payoff value is 110. So we are taking these payoffs in terms of profits. We must keep in mind that. What is the second step then? Among these minimum payoffs, select the one with highest value. Remember, when the information is given in terms of profits, we would apply the Maximin principle. It means maximum out of the minimum payoffs. So maximum payoff is need to be selected out of the minimum payoffs. So they are basically, the decision maker basically is following the conservative approach here. So what is the minimum value among these highest values? So the minimum value is, the maximum value among these minimum values is 360. If so, the appropriate action or the optimal action taken by company is action 1 because it brings the maximum profit to the company. Now we would discuss the second scenario. What if these payoff values are given in terms of costs? Then how would we apply this principle? In case 1, the optimal strategy is A1. Case 2, in which these payoff values are given in terms of costs. Then we would apply the Minimax principle. Minimax principle. And what would be the procedure of applying Minimax principle? Step 1, determine the maximum payoff value for each strategy. In this case, we need to find the maximum payoff value for each action. So the maximum payoff value for A1 strategy, it would be 360. For action A2, the maximum value is 380. For third action, it is 400. For fourth action, it is 420. For fifth action, it is 440. And for last action, that is 6, it is 460. So in this condition, we need to apply the Minimax principle. First, we need to select the maximum values for each strategy. Then we need to select the minimum out of that. So the minimum value for among these values is 360. So again, the optimal strategy adopted by a company would be A1. Okay. Remember that in first case we considered or supposed that these values are profits which are gained after the different combinations. In that case we applied the Maximin principle. And suppose if the values are given in terms of costs, then we would apply the Minimax approach. Minimum out of the maximum cost. So in this way we can apply Maximin and Minimax principle. And remember that both of these principles follow the same conservative approach while selecting the optimal strategy to optimize their profit or cost. Thank you.